David Gray from Send Solutions, the guy who takes the blame there. David, you had an interesting product announcement yesterday. Fill us in on what you're offering to this community right now.
Okay, well, disruptive in a sense. As I've been in the industry about 30 years, I found that people had a need for a low-cost way to stay in touch when they're flying, with their friends, their family, and of course with the business. And I had a big company before, almost 70 people, and I found that if I could just send them a quick blurb, a quick message, that they could continue to keep in business and keep things going. So it could be a short little text that would say, do it, or yes, you're approved, or something like that. And then nobody was waiting, and I felt like I was still in touch and in control. So what I tried to do is say, okay, how could we make that available to the airplane? In the past, it's traditionally been internet. And internet, even though it's the greatest thing we have available today, it comes with certain baggage. And the baggage is it's expensive to install, the equipment is voluminous, and then it's expensive to operate on a recurring basis. So what I did was I said, okay, what if we wanted to stay in touch, but we didn't want to have the whole internet? We do a subset of that, and the subset is texting. Well, how much would that cost? Well, actually, Iridium's been out there for a long time. So with the Iridium network, they have something called short burst messaging. And so I said, okay, let's take that, use that. Well, some of the options with Iridium was that you had a single pipe coming to the airplane. And so what could we do to get a lot of people to use it? Well, traditionally, that single pipe was like a party line. So if you got a message, I could see what your message was, or vice versa, and that's not conducive to business.
Nope.
So what's happened in the technology is that Bluetooth has come a long way. So now we have what's called Bluetooth Low Energy, and all the new phones, whether they be Android or iOS, have this BLE technology. And so BLE is not a pairing like Bluetooth used to be of a one-to-one peer-to-peer network. This is now a beaconing function. And so we figured out a way that we could have 16 independent people sending and receiving text messaging simultaneously anywhere in the world. And so we think we've got the solution.
Of course, now what's going to happen as a result that all of a sudden we're going to see an influx of teenage girls into aviation. If they can text from the airplane, there's no reason to keep them out now.
Well, think about the owner-operator of airplanes. So the dad is generally flying, or the mom is up front, or the mom might be in the back, but then you've got your kids. And the kids, even though the flight is enjoyable for the pilot, they're thinking, I want to be doing something else. Why can't I watch YouTube videos? Well, that's that internet thing where it's really expensive. But if you give them the opportunity to text message, they're going to be happy as a clam, right? They're going to be back there sending messages, and it's 5 cents a message. So we figured this out. It's a shameless plug here, but the hardware cost is $9,750 plus installation fee from one of the avionics companies that would belong to AEA, and then you just pay this 5 cents a message. So it's very reasonable.
Sounds like. What's involved right now with the average installation? What should somebody be looking at? And more important, who's your market at this point?
So the market is generally turboprop airplanes and above. But anybody that's flying for a couple hours, there's certain advantages that we have to some of the other systems that are out there. Some of the other systems require that you be above 10,000 feet AGL before the system is usable, because it interferes with the ground-based antenna system. Well, that's not true with Iridium. You could be anywhere in the world, you could be on the ground and operate it, and at any altitude, and so that's a really neat system. So what we're looking for is someone that, the ideal thing is someone that already has an antenna on the airplane. So they have a existing Iridium phone, then we just tap into their phone. We use a coaxial switch and then a AB switch. So you're either in voice or data. And so you're using an asset, the antenna that's already been on the airplane, and then most people are going to text more, they're going to talk on the phone.
Are there What's the certification basis on this? Is that going to be a major issue as far as getting these installs done and blessed by the FAA?
Okay, so the airplane that we're currently STC on is a Citation 10, which is a Part 25 airplane. They actually already had an Iridium antenna and a phone, so we just did the connection that I talked about. But we will have PMA next month, and so then this will be done on a 337. So this install will just follow that documentation. And then through an ODA, we plan to add different airframe frames, which make it even easier in the future.
How rigorous is the install? How much downtime can we expect when we're trying to add this capability?
Well, that's a great question. Because the antenna is on the top of the airplane, it's usually wise to do this when you're having a maintenance event and the interior's already out. So when the interior's out, then they can run they follow the coax down to where the phone meets it, and then they'll just put the splitter there where that is. And then this goes anywhere, generally in the cabin. However, we have some manufacturers that want to put this underneath the floorboards because it's a composite floorboard, and so somewhere in the cabin is where it's going to be located.
Now, the general market you're talking about is turboprop and the like. One of the things that we've been looking at is there are a number of areas in which getting small, short bursts of information about the airplane to, say, a maintenance center, some of the automated facilities, hey, number 2 is temping, so forth and so on. Might this be acclimated down the line to be able to provide airframe and systems data on request to a service center or things of that nature?
You would think that we talked before, because actually right now there's only 4 wires that we need to connect this to.
Okay.
It's power, ground, and we use 429 for some speed information. However, we have another 429 channel, we have CAN bus, 2 channels of CAN bus, and we have a serial bus. So there's a lot of information that this could get and this could send automatically. And then we have other features with this that's pretty unique. We have a feature where we could contact an FBO, and then the FBO would just have a small box that would pop up, and an air text message would go direct to what the CSR's screen is. So like right now when we call in when we're getting ready to land, well, that's the worst time to be on a radio call because you're going through all your landing functionality. This you could do anywhere in your flight. You could do it 100, 200 miles. You could do it over the ocean. You could call and say, hey, I'm going to need customs. I'm going to need another car. I need catering. I need more fuel. Here's my fuel load. All that information, and it's textual, so it's not the confusion of the voice transfer. The other thing that we can do is that if you have a fleet of airplanes, then you could actually contact the pilot by sending a message just from your desk, and it'll go up through air text and they'll receive it.
Okay, so this is a fully two-way system then?
It's kind of like a mini ACARS system
without
the cost. So there's a lot of, well.
ACARS, I like that.
Well, things have changed.
Yes.
You know, it's always smaller, lighter, faster, less expensive. That's the mantra, and that was the mantra at my last company, and that's what we go by now.
Well, it's obvious that you've got an interesting niche going for you, but the mind cogitates for a few minutes and you can think of 10 different ways that this could be utilized alternately. So I have to ask you, where do you take it from here? Well, we have a lot of different things that we could do. We have the ability to daisy chain them. So currently this does 16. We have a plan to take that up to 32, but then we think we can daisy chain it and have a wide, so you're thinking about a regional jet, so we can do airline capacity. We know that if you have an air text number, just like in your contact list where it says, okay, Jim, here's Jim's home number, his cell number, his work number, here's his air text number. I call up on that air text number, it will find you on any air text plane that you're flying on. If you're on one airplane, I'm on another airplane, you could be air texting me, So it has a lot of capability. We're really excited about it. And then the other part is that Iridium is coming out with Iridium Next. And Iridium Next is going to be a huge increase in bandwidth. And this is being driven by the military. So the military is going to use it for capabilities that civilians won't,
But those new satellites they start to put them up in orbit in October of this year, and it's supposed to be fully functional in 2017.
Right around the corner.
It's right around the corner. We're going to get our foot in the door. We have a lot of interesting things, and we have other development steps.
So let me get this straight. We have a basic hardware cost, just under 10, and then install costs, whatever those may be. And in many cases, if you've got scheduled maintenance, it's probably not going to be too prohibitive.
Right.
And then just the cost for the message, or is there a subscription fee?
No, just the cost for message. So what we do is...
Boy, that's dirt cheap.
Well, it is dirt cheap, but you pay for it up front. So,
yeah.
So a owner-operator of an airplane, it could be a Meridian, a Pilatus or something that's an owner-operator, he might not fly that much. That's a lot of, I don't want to spend too much. So we said $600 for the year. That's $50 a month, but you pay it all up front. The next level is a corporate. Corporate is $2,000, and a charter, which flies an awful lot, would be $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what does that equate to? $3,000 is 60,000 messages a year, $2,000 is 40,000, and $600
Gotcha.
is 12,000. So that's a lot of messaging, and we just think it's very scalable for people.
Sounds like. The aviation industry, as mobile as it is, we are finding out that we have to be increasingly connected just to stay alive. The industry is not in the best shape it's ever been. We're in a bit of a doldrums right now, but we're finding more unique ways to get more out of our aircraft and to find ways to not only get more value out of the aircraft, but to justify their usage to begin with. At the same time, something like this, as simple as it is in structure, gives you a tremendous amount of power, whether it's a text message for a fuel order on landing, whether it's let people know, to have a rental car waiting for you, or you're late for dinner, or whatever the case may be. Pretty exciting stuff, but the part to me that I like is the anticipation of being able to get critical kinds of information out 5 cents a pop.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yep, and that's you could do a lot in just a few words. So 5 cents actually covers quite a few words.
Yeah. Outstanding. Is there a message length to the text itself?
About 140, a standard SMS type message. Yeah.
Okay.
And then if it goes beyond that, it just chains them together. It's meant to be simple. You said the right word. It's seamless from what you've seen texting. It's at the same speed, even faster sometimes than what you'd see on ground text messages. So we're just blown away about how cool this is, because anywhere in the world, people can still be in touch, and we're not asking for an arm and a leg to do it.
The thing I like too is working with Iridium. There's been a number of communication solutions that have been proffered based on various technologies, and all of a sudden those technologies disappear. The companies disappear, the infrastructure doesn't work, or they get bought out by somebody who quashes it. Iridium's not going anywhere.
Oh no.
No. They're here.
But I was around the industry as you were when it almost went away.
Yep.
And it just came back with a resurgence. And the fact that our military has grabbed a hold of it, I have every bit of confidence that it's only going to get better.
Well, Iridium, interesting company. We know many of the higher ups over there, and these are folks that think way ahead. So thankfully, it's a company that we have a reasonable degree of certainty is going to be here 5 years from now. So even investment by aviation standards, as reasonable as this may be, it's certainly nice to know that you're going to be able to get your values worth 5-10 years from now.
And that's the airborne side. So
Yep.
then there's the ground side. So on our ground side, we're using the same infrastructure that Uber uses, because that's a tremendous thing. So we have all that worked out, and then of course we have servers that have 99.99% reliability too. So there's all this structure that's been developed over the years, and the timing is just perfect for this.
Well, David, you're no stranger to this industry, and you're certainly not a one-trick pony. You've been out there, you've done a lot of interesting things. Might we see other products from Send Solutions above and beyond the messaging capability?
Yes. Yes.
Just between you, me, and the live universe out there, nobody will tell.
Yes. Yes.
That's about it.
They're in process, and I'm the eternal optimist, but I have a list of projects that are about that long and we will have more and more announcements. And this company is called, the parent company is called Send Solutions. This product is called AirTex, but we have many things to offer, and I'm excited because we can take old existing airplanes, 30, 40, you know, back in the military we flew 50-year-old airplanes, and we can modernize them so that they're able to do things that some of the new airplanes can't do, because even if you delivered a brand new airplane, the technology they had to put in was 5 years old. So we could stay current with electronics.
Well, when I saw the bits and pieces that we were able to sample yesterday, this definitely sounded like a conversation I wanted to have. David, I thank you so much for your time. This is something I got to keep an eye on.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 59th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Orlando, Florida, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Redbird Flight Simulations is dedicated to revolutionizing flight training by designing, manufacturing, and delivering affordable and innovative flight training technologies. Each Redbird device is designed to enhance the training experience for pilots of all levels, from student to ATP. Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.